People are so strict and judgmental about themselves, about their own thoughts and way of being and mindset. It's sometimes if you had a loudspeaker on your head from what's going on inside, I think a lot of people would have a very scary tone of voice diverted into themselves. I experienced it years ago in my own life, being so judgmental and being have a very hard and harsh judgment and conclusions about yourself. I ask my clients, are you talking this way in this manner to your kids or to your loved ones or to your neighbor? No, of course not. It's always the answer, of course not.
Okay.
Because that's not done. It's mind-boggling that we are so sweet to other people and so mean and harsh to ourselves.
Yeah.
I experienced it myself, and it takes some effort to break that cycle and to really accept and love yourself. It is just an eye-opening experience, and it makes such a difference in my life.
So where do we get that? We don't treat others that way, but we do it to ourselves. So how did that get in our heads?
Yeah, it's interesting. My mother didn't tell me those things. She was sweet, and of course she was strict at times, but not in the way that I talked to myself in my head.
Yeah.
And maybe perfectionism has a deal with it, has something to do with it. Wanting to do it right or specifically perfect.
And everybody, no, I can't say everybody, but the majority of us have that problem. We're harder on ourselves than we are on anybody else, our own kids or a spouse or neighbors or friends. We'll say things in our mind to ourselves we would never do to others. Like I still do it. I mean, I'm a coach, I know better. But I was helping my daughter put something together and my eyesight isn't great. And I wear glasses, but if I was working in a false ceiling, a T-bar ceiling, one of those things,
I know,
and I was short of light and I had it up here and I couldn't see and I back up, I was inside the framing and I was getting frustrated with myself. And I would have had all kinds of patience for somebody else that had a little vision problem. Oh, we'll get it figured out. But no, where do we get that? Where do we feel that we are entitled to be so hard on ourselves? And that's a bad tape to be running in our head.
Of course, yeah. And in my situation, it got worse and worse and worse, and it ended up in having a depression, being depressed. And I know for a fact that I did it myself, like not having a job that I liked, not have a particular goal in my life to pursue, all that kinds of stuff. Has something to do with it, of course, but it all happens on the inside, not in our work or at the work floor. It is in your own body, of course. It can be become a very unhealthy way to talk to yourself, and it in itself will get to some kind of routine. Of course, thoughts are routines as well.
Yeah.
And that's what I experienced, and it's not good.
Well, it cuts the groove in the mental capacity. I mean, you're constantly going down that becomes the familiar thing. When you're self-doubt and self-criticizing, you do it enough, your subconscious gets over and says, wait, we got some spare time. This is what we do, right?
Yeah.
We put ourselves down. And like anything in life, what you look for, you'll find. And the more you start looking in one area, the less you see of the peripheral, the less you see. It's called focusing, right?
Yeah.
Very powerful. And we're very good at focusing, but we're focusing on the wrong thing. It ain't going to be much good, right?
Yeah. I see focusing as a tunnel vision. It is blanking out the rest of what your eye is on. And it can be very useful to do something very specific in your day job or something. But I like to expand, because you can also focus, but with the rest around you.